Hello and welcome back to Scale War Machines. Yes, this is my workshop. This week I'm going to be looking at improving my work area where I do all my modelling. It's remained pretty much unchanged for many years and I'm in the process of upgrading it and making it much better. I want it to suit my needs, improve my workflow and be a much better, more usable space. So I thought I'd do a series on building my dream workspace. And I'm going to be starting off with organisers, the sorts of racks and storage that will make this whole area much easier to manage and use. Let's begin. So first of all, a bit of an explanation of this work area and how it's evolved over the years. So the channel's been in existence for a very long time and I started out in a different location, but the layout was broadly the same. In fact, I did a video many years ago outlining how my work area was arranged in its first location. I'll play in a little clip of that now. And you can see essentially that I had a system of shelves above a desk. We've also got our Tamiyas here. A lot of model makers will be familiar with Tamiya. In the old days I had books and other elements of storage either side. I had a simple desk and this worktop has in fact been with the channel for years, well over a decade. And that's going to be one thing that's changing. That did me well for a number of years and then I moved to this location here, and this is basically a single skin breeze block garage. Concrete floor, breeze block walls. So when I moved here I was starting with a blank canvas. Because of the needs of the channel I got the workspace set up very quickly and used many of the elements that I had in the previous location, and that worked well. Then as the years went by I started to change things a little bit. You can see that the layout was slightly different here at the work area. The shelves were moved around. I also integrated new elements to help with video production. More on that later. The first thing I did in this workspace was to line the walls. And I lined the walls with 18mm OSB, and that's very useful. Once it's done, you can screw into the OSB and you don't need to drill into the breeze block. So it's taken a while, but I've done most of the walls in here. I've got a little bit more to do on the other side, but that made it much more practical, and that meant in my DIY area up there I could put up all sorts of tool organisation and storage and a French cleat system, and it means now whenever I do anything on the walls I can easily screw into the walls and change the storage system. So that's been really successful. I've tinkered around a little bit with the layout, tried different things like cupboards, pegboard for organising, but very quickly it's filling up. And one of the things that annoyed me a lot was my paint storage, which had remained largely unchanged. So I just had all my paints on shelves above the work area. There were a number of problems with this, as I showed in one video, where paints could easily fall down onto the work area and onto models, which was no good. Oh, that would have been good. Yeah, drop on the tank. Likewise, all my kit was stored in little troughs there at the front, and at the side I had brushes and sanding pads and so on, and they would tend to tip over. So all of that could be improved. This is a 2-monitor setup that I use for my filming, and above I have a rail system for my lights. So if you're interested in that, you can see a previous video I made all about lighting at Scale War Machines, because I've got the video area here, photography there, and also some house lighting and a rail system above that allows me to pull down lights and use them as necessary. But if we focus on this, recently I made a video about Green Stuff World and their products, and I featured their paint rack system. So they make MDF paint racks and organisers, and they very kindly agreed to come on board and support the upgrade of this workshop. So what I'll be talking about in this video is the installation of these new paint racks that you can start to see emerging here. Many of them are the same style that you saw in that video when I reviewed their paints, and I've started to deck out the whole workshop in their system. So what I'll do is show all the different modular elements that I've ordered, and I'll discuss how and where I'm going to install them. Now, if you recall in the previous video, I assembled a single paint rack. I've added 2 more of those for my Vallejos, the Green Stuff World paints, and I've ordered the larger storage units for 10 ml pots for my Tamiya paints, and I'm going to be ordering more of those. So the idea was to order stuff, see what worked, see what didn't, and then get more of those units. So this is very much a work in progress, and you can see other modular racks have started to appear. What I would say is these are MDF laser cut units. There's a whole range of them, different types, which I'll put up on the screen now. They're really simple to use and assemble, but there's a few tips I can give you as I time lapse through different items. And that is, if you want to assemble quickly, you should definitely use something like super glue or cyanoacrylate. You can also use wood glue, and I've been using this laser cut kit glue from Deluxe Materials, and that's been very good as well. Let's just run through all the modular units I picked up as I time-lapse through them, and then I'll talk about how I'm going to integrate them. I got some of the half-height organisers, both for the larger bottles, which you can see there, and for the smaller Vallejo type paints, in that case AK, and those will go all along there, so they will sit on the shelf. So the shelf is going to be extended, and I'm going to have more of those double height going along there. And then for this area here, I ordered a bunch of organisers with drawers and shelves, so the idea will be I'll be able to store larger bottles on there and also have little cubbies to store various miscellaneous items. Here I'm in two minds what to do, whether to keep the magnetic strip or change it. I think I'm going to mount the larger storage drawers up there, and that will give me instant access to everything. In terms of transformers, tools and mini drills will probably stay there, and then here I plan to use their workstation type organisers. So let's run through everything I assembled and take a look. Now, one of the things I need to consider is reflections, so I've been playing around with putting privacy vinyl on any shiny plastic parts, but you can see they're very well made. They come together well. They're very sturdy once assembled, and they're a great way of organising your paints. What I really like about them is you can use them just to pick everything up in one go. It tends to hold everything very securely and nothing will fall out. So you can see how easy it is to move stuff around and organise it. And I plan to make everything movable so I can shift around the whole setup. This will also fit other bottle sizes. Again, easy to pick up, easy to move around, perfect. Inside the range, you've either got these double height modules or you've got the half height ones, like the ones I showed you earlier up there on the shelf, including this is their open shelf, and I deliberately omitted a shelf there so I could put larger bottles, but you could have 3 shelves, and if you look carefully you can see I've put some of that anti-reflective coating on there. That's just because of the needs of filming, but these are all going to go under here like so, and that will enable me to store paint. This is for spray cans. Down on this lower level I also ordered one of these cubby organisers, and it's got a bunch of drawers. Now you'll see they're half assembled. I want to put the anti-reflective treatment on. What I'm using is a vinyl product from IKEA called Puckerfly, and it gives that sort of frosted glass effect. So the reason I haven't fully assembled all of these is I'm just going to go through in one blitz and put that anti-reflective coating on there. But that will give me storage, little cubbies to store things, and that will probably go along here as well, something like that. I'm sort of working out what I'm going to do with this area and down there. These are their larger, deeper organisers, again with drawers. This is the Puckerfly product from IKEA, sprayed over with some silver paint, and that's probably what I'll go with. As you can see, it's less reflective. I had originally thought of replacing my troughs there with these and putting them against the wall, but what I might well do is I might mount them up here and against the wall, so giving me pull-out storage up here at this height. That will obviously mean I need to change that, but there's a bunch of these and they're all designed to be modular and stackable, again all with frosted glass on the front along here, either at desk level or up under the shelf, and I might extend the shelf forwards. And then I got their station organisers, which I'll show you now. This is what they call their paint rack, and it's designed to be a sort of paint station, I guess. And as you can see, it's very cleverly designed, extremely easy to assemble, but it's got different sizes of potential holes. You can store your paints upside down as well if you so wish. If I grab something, you can see there, you can open them up and put larger bottles. and I might tinker around and customize it to my tastes. My thinking is that this will actually go at the side here. Now, I have measured this, it's about 70 centimeters, so it will fit as a partition along here, but that could go along there. I will also be integrating into all of this existing storage items from other brands, 3D printed and possibly metal or even wood as well, depending on the maximum efficiency and maximum workflow I can get out of each item. On that note, I used to store all my brushes in these kind of glass jars, and they kept tipping over, or I'd catch them and they'd tip over. And where I think something might work differently or perhaps better, I went for this, which is from ProScale, and that means my brushes now are nicely organized and won't fall over, and that will probably go behind there like that. And I'm going to start to build up this partition and storage. All these different items went together really quickly. I love the fact they're modular and interchangeable, allowing me to change my whole setup here. What I'll do off camera is I'll continue to assemble all the little drawers and cubbies, or as many as I can, and at the end of this video I'll show you an image of how it's coming together. Now bear in mind, this is not going to be complete. This is just a start on a major project, and in this series I'm going to look at everything from customizing items to lighting and other aspects. It has taken a while for this workshop to come together. There's been a lot of work involved in things like stripping off plasterboard here and there, putting up all the lining and storage like the pegboard, and there's plenty more work to do, but it is slowly coming together. I've got everything on wheels so I can move everything around. I remade my original workbench so it's much sturdier. It's got drawers. As I've shown in other videos, I'm using shadow foam in my tool chest so I can move those around and store things like airbrushes, but also other tools for my other hobbies. One of the great successes has been to put Halford's foam flooring on the concrete floor, and that's completely transformed this space. I was initially thinking of doing all sorts of expensive things. Actually, just putting down these cheap rubber mats has been very successful. It's made it warmer, quieter, and a much more pleasant place to work. So this venerable kitchen worktop that's been here for at least 10 years, if not more, since the very beginning of the channel, will be removed and replaced with the Trespa worktop that's underneath. But all in all, it's very exciting to see this start to come together. I mean, the paints are so much more organized. I can just go up and grab one. I can see all the references. That's such an improvement already. They don't fall, but it's so nice to see all these amazing racks starting to improve what I can do in this workshop and starting to make me feel better about the way it's organized. So I wanted to extend my thanks to Green Stuff World for coming on board with this upgrade plan. Really grateful to them and really happy to start to see everything feeling more organized. To finish off, I'll show you some views of how it is at this stage when I upload the video, and there'll be plenty more in this series looking at how I improve this workshop. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and bye.
Subscribe for our latest videos.